Everything be under law, under a moral system. When we deal with the law, we should not just look at it from our personal emotional point of view or personal interest, but look at the law from the social interest and human interest as well. We know that even in this country, United States, there are between 7 to 8 million more women than men. There are statistics that there are 30 million women in this country that they are ready to marry, but they don't have an opportunity to marry. So what is the solution for social problems like this? Well, one way is just to let it out of control, to say it's right to have boyfriend, girlfriend, you don't have to marry, no responsibility, and bring chaos and indulgence out of control. Or we put condition and we say that, well, if there is a situation that there are more male than female, because men are targets of war, more men are killed in wars and violence, in diseases. In many situations, they live shorter. There are more men in prisons than women. So we are dealing with a number. After the Second World War in Germany, when so many men died and women had no protection, they were marching in big demonstrations. What should we do? And the government was about to discuss the matter with Al-Azhar in Egypt and said, if Islam provides a solution, but then the church stopped them. Said, no, we don't let that happen. Islam says when you have these circumstances, if there is equal men and women, there is no need for polygyny, because, you know, it's 1 for 1. But if you have a situation that there are more women than men in any society, then it is about finding a social solution for a social problem. So again, Islam didn't say ta'addud al-zawjat is wajib, you have to do it. Islam didn't say it was mustahab either. Islam came, as a matter of fact, to limit the number of women that someone may marry. It says maximum 4. And then put a big condition, justice. وَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ أَلَّا تَعْدِلُوا فَوَاحِدًا. If you have fear, خِفْتُمْ, not that if you are sure that you are not be able to be fair, then فَوَاحِدًا, then one. No, even if you have fear that you can handle the situation fairly and justly, then you have to have one. And under these circumstances and this condition, justice and courage and wisdom. Because not only justice, you need so many other things. It's not easy to handle more than one wife. Someone should be in the highest level of faith, highest level of courage, highest level of justice, highest level of wisdom to be able to do such a thing. Not out of providing pleasure, but out of saving the soul. What about those women in Lebanon, in Iraq, in any country that they went through wars and they lost their husband? Should they live single forever and feel depression? That's one way. Just, we don't care about what you feel, be depressed. Or should they be allowed to do, na'udhu billah, adultery and do the haram thing? Or there should be a solution? That is why Ustad Mutahari, Shahid Mutahari said, we shouldn't compare. He said, this is wrong to say, which one is better? Is better to have one wife, or is better to have 2 or 3 wives? Obviously, it's better to have one. This is natural, this is normal, this is the original thing. So you should not compare these 2 questions. The question is this: whether we choose ta'addud zawjat, to have more than one wife under condition, under law, under justice, or let the rest of the society and the women to do adultery and go to corruption. Which one is better? That is the real question. Now somebody may say that what about women? Why they cannot have more than one husband? When we know that if there are four men and just one wife and there is a baby, everybody is fighting that this is my baby, the other says this is my baby. You may say, now we have DNA. Well, we didn't have DNA for thousands of years. What about those people who did not have DNA? Now we have DNA. But even after DNA, the problem is not solved. That a woman with so many husbands, then that is the Hollywood thing. That is the adultery thing. That is the bachelor thing, that one man, they bring him like 25 girls and they have intimacy for month and month and month. And later on they tell him, you can choose one of these 25. And then he said, I don't like either of them. Can you imagine? Is this dignity for any society? And then they promote it. They think this is so cute. And millions of people, they sit down and watch this serial. Is that really the solution for the society? This Hollywood culture that is against ta'addud zawjat, is against marrying more than one wife. But day and night in all these movies, they promote corruption. They promote adultery day and night. And people, they go and they watch it. And this is why we have 3,000 cases of abortion every day in the United States. Can you imagine? We have 9/11 every day in the US. 3,000 innocent babies. This criminal Dr. Kermit Gosnell, did you hear just a few days ago in Philadelphia? These guys have been doing illegal abortion. Even the baby, the fetus at the age of 8 months, he would abort them, that no other doctor, and he aborts the babies alive, and then he kills them with scissors. He cut them and make them in pieces, cut them in pieces. And then, because of money, because he charged $1,600 to $3,000 for killing each baby, and earning between $10,000 to $15,000 a day. He was arrested after killing thousands of babies for 2 decades. He has been doing these filthy jobs. So is that the solution for the society? Or have a responsible, legal way of protecting the rights of women? Hollywood keeps doing that, and this is why if one day there is a disaster for California, millions of innocent people who have nothing to do with this corruption may be suffering because of the crimes of others. Did you hear just a few days ago that 100 scientists, they are saying that California may face a risk of a massive superstorm. If that superstorm comes, it's going to be at least $400 billion damages to California. It could last for 40 days and dump 10 feet of water on the state. The state of California is going to be under that much water. his punishment, it comes, then those who promote this filth for the whole world should not be so surprised. And by the way, brothers and sisters, the question of ta'addud al-zawjat is not in the Quran. As a matter of fact, it was in the Bible. The Quran came and limited that. Because the Bible says that Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines. That means 300 like the slaves, like a muta, like 700 like official wives, and then 300 other. Altogether 1,000 wives. That's what the Bible says about Solomon. What the Quran says, and it says about other like Abraham and Yaqub and others. What Islam did, Islam came to limit. It says no more than 4, but even that, if you have only a fear of not exercising justice, فَوَاحِدًا, then only 1. Why you don't read the only 1 of this verse? Even in the United States now, although it's illegal, but you heard about that Mr. Brown with like 4 wives and 16 children. It was already on TV. Now the police, after watching that, they went for him, and he said, well, I didn't do anything illegal. I have only 1 legal wife, the 3 of them. The rest of them, I did not register them, so I didn't do anything illegal. So in reality, in the legality, I have only 1 wife. And I mentioned in the past about that Mr. Nelson, 67 years old, a Christian, 21 wives and 36 children. But we don't hear these things about Christianity. They keep attacking Islam in Islamophobia. Islam is not a good religion. Islam is a bad religion. Because of polygyny, because Islam did allow a man to marry more than 1 wife. But they don't see it that Islam didn't look at this as a wajib, as an obligation, but an option. If there is a necessity, if there is a social need for that, and even then, under so many conditions, Islam allowed that, because Islam is the religion of wisdom and logic. And when it does something, it does. And by the way, Islam says that if a woman is afraid that her husband in the future may marry another wife, she can deprive him from that. In the beginning of the marriage, you can put this condition that you are not allowed to marry another woman. Or if you did so, I'm going to divorce. I need wakala to divorce myself if such a thing happens. So the Islam, brothers and sisters, is a religion of adala. Now some Muslims are not just, but Islam is a religion of justice. We have to separate between al-Islam and some Muslims. This is that marhum Ahmad Dida said, إن تشريع تعدد الزوجات في الإسلام ليس للتحفيز الجنسي ولكنه حل لمشكلة في المجتمع. ولكن المجتمع الغربي يحارب ذلك ويقاومه. أما lesbianiyya واللوتية, the homosexuality and lesbianism, that is free. That is not anything wrong with that. But then polygymy is wrong and is haram. فهما مقننان. This kind of thing, they are very legal. فالرجال يتم تزويجهم بعضهم إلى بعض في الكنيسة. Now there are men and women that they go to the church and they get married there. Nobody talk about that. But then they attack Islam because of that. This is when they come to this point, say, فوق جثتي, you cannot do that. إني أقول لهم إنكم مرضى يا قوم, you are sick with this kind of mentality. هذا تعدد الزوجات هو الحل. This is considered to be as a social solution for those who are looking for hayat tayyibah, those who are looking for an honorable life,